Hi folks, and welcome back to Isle of Wight Bushcraft. And this time out we're doing a lovely overnighter on this beautiful stretch of coastline. And this time out I'll be on the sleep pad on the ground just under a tarp, and we've even got a bit of catch and cook as well. So stay tuned. So I grabbed my things and headed out along this coastline. Thankfully, the sea fog was lifting, allowing the sun to shine through. This is quite a rugged stretch of coastline, and the going can really be arduous, especially with a heavy pack. This is when a good quality pair of walking boots with good ankle support really come into their own. And it's on rugged ground like this, a mix of shingle, boulders and large stones, that help you to appreciate just how important it is to have good kit. So having hiked for just about a mile and recceing along the way for a suitable spot, I eventually reached this place and decided that this would be where I'd camp for the night. Well, this is where I'm going to make camp for this evening. It's a bit blowy, so I'm going to put the tarp up behind me just to keep the wind off me through the night. I'm on this little elevated level piece of pebble beach here because I bought my my X-Therm sleep pad. I wouldn't fancy sleeping on these stones for a night, but there we are. It is what it is. I've come blind today, so I've not done a recce or anything. I'm just hiked along this coast, and it's the first reasonably not too distant spot that I've come across that I've chosen. I do know this coast, but not intimately. So this is where I'm bedding down for the night, on this little piece of beach here. I've got the sea there, lovely scenery. No one comes down here. This is quite a remote part of the island. So should be a nice night. So going to get about making camp. Well, I'm glad I brought my my buck saw with me, because as you can see there are a couple of protruding branches on this dead tree here. So I'll take the buck saw and I'll lop those off, and then I can tuck in even more out of the wind. I don't fancy rolling into one of those in the night, or bumping into one in the night and being jabbed in the back by one. So that's the idea of that. So I'm going to take the buck saw and just sort of prepare camp a little bit, make it a little bit more livable. This is that buck saw that I showed you a while back. Wait, that's it. Then I made out a lovely piece of standing sycamore, and I'm really pleased with this. Yeah, it serves me well, this does. Right, put this together and then we'll lop those branches off. Just put that round the end there. And just twist that now. That gives us the tension and makes the saw frame nice and rigid and fit for use. So we'll lock this one off first. There we are, that tidies that up a bit now. What I'll do now is take my 3x3 multi-cam tarp and set up that, and then put my bed down, and hopefully we'll have a nice little snug camp. That sea breeze will die down there once the sun drops, I'm hoping. But the tarp will shield me anyway. But a little bit of wind would be nice, so I'm planning to have a fire there, and the wind will take the smoke away from me. Good thing about this little site here, this little spot that I've chosen, is I've got a beautiful outlook out onto the sea all along this rocky coast. And plenty of firewood, driftwood that's just drifted in, plenty of driftwood all around me, so firewood's not an issue. And I've got a fresh water, water source stream just running out there, and it doesn't come off of agricultural land, it's a spring. So I'm going to filter it anyway, but so I've got water as well. So it's it's a little bit pebbly, but I've got resources that compensate for that, more than make up for it. So anyway, let's put this tarp up. So there we are, there's camp set. One thing I like about camping on the coast, on the beach, is often you have to improvise, and that's exactly what I've done here. But I find that's part of the thrill with when you're on a remote or rugged part of the coast. You have got to improvise, it's part of the fun, it tests you a little bit, which I like. Anyway, I've just got to put my gear under the tarp, let's set that up. But we're approaching, we're just about on low tide now, so I've bought some crab and lobster pots with me. So I'm going to bait those up and put those out. The trouble is I've got to get up at 4:30 in the morning to check them, because that's when low tide is again. So I'm going to bait those up and put them out now, and see if we get anything that we can catch and cook. Here we are in true longshoreman style. I've got some mackerel there for bait and 5 pots. So let's say we'll bait those up and see if we can catch ourselves some nice seafood. Now the thing that I like about these pots is that they are collapsible. So they're very easy to store, but they're pretty rugged as well. So they don't tear that easy, the netting. There we are. There we go. So there's the pot. And all we do is, you've got a little zipper pouch there, we put our bait in that, and then there's a bigger zip underneath which we unzip to hopefully empty our catch. So 5 of those. You'll notice that I've just used old tennis balls and a bit of netting and probably about 10 foot of twine just as marker floats, but not too big. I don't want people seeing them, basically. That's why I use those. Anyway, so we'll get those out, bait them up. Well, that's the traps baited up and ready to go. So we go and set them now. Put some stones in to weight them down, and we go and place them just around this little bit of shoreline, and let them fish for the night. Well, that's the lobster pots, crab pots all baited up. I've put them round at strategic positions just on this piece of the shore. I've kind of fanned them out, and all being well, mind you, I said that last time, but all being well, we'll get something. Even we get some of the velvet swimmer crabs. They're quite good eating. So what I do now is I'll give you a little show around camp and show you how I've improvised and what I've done. It's not a bad little spot actually. Yeah, that's where my tarp is, and that's the view that I've got. That's what I'll be waking up to in the morning. And see, I've got my 3x3 tarp. I've just got to set my bed up, sleep pad and everything. Got it in like a porch mode to keep the wind off me. What I've done here is to guy it out. I've used a stick, put the guy around a stick, and then use a couple of big rocks there. So that's not going anywhere. Rather than just try and do it to a rock, which can be abrasive on your guy line in a wind. It's rubbing and rubbing. As it's flapping, it could snap, but that way it's not going to happen. And it gives a good anchor point, that. So that's how I've guyed out the tarp. I've used a stanchion here, and as you can see, it's got a couple of nice roots coming out, so that acts as a stabiliser, and then I've just got my guy going round that and then coming down to this big gnarly old tree trunk there, so that's not moving. That guy's at the other point. For the back of the top, you'll see what I've done. I've just put some sticks through the anchor points, and then put a couple of rocks on those twigs to anchor it down, so that's not going anywhere, and should keep it nice and tight, so it doesn't flap about in the night. So another little stanchion the other side, which I've wedged in between this big old trunk, and my ridge line's going across like so, and a couple of prusik loops keep it taut, and that's my home for the night. And do you know what? I think that's a pretty good alternative to a 5-star hotel. Something about sleeping and camping on the shore. The sound of the water, lovely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is get my bed roll, my sleeping bag and everything sorted out. I'm going to put a ground sheet down, a tough old bit of tarp down first, only a cheap bit, but it's tough, and then put my sleep pad on top of that and in my bag. And then get some firewood and think about a fire, I think, and something to eat. It's time to light a fire now, and get some food on the go. I'm just going to take some of this fat wood now and get some shavings on the go, the usual. This fat wood's lovely. It's absolutely rich with resin. and it's actually making like a fat wood feather stick here as I do this. I'm using the spine of the knife because the good thing about these jackdaws is they've got a lovely spine on them, nice and sharp, so you can save the edge of your blade. I've since learnt lovely. So there we are, we're ready to put a spark to that. Here we go. So I'm just going to put these nice chunks of fat wood on here, like so. Everything's slightly damp, but these nice chunks of fat wood that I've got will do the trick. Just feed some small stuff on there. There's a little bit of a breeze, still blowing. I thought it was going to die down actually, but it's not. But that'll probably help the fire. Having lit my fire, I took a few moments to stand back to survey all around me. The evening light was setting in and was bathing the shoreline and the water in a beautiful golden glow. This was one of those very special moments that beckoned those fortunate enough to witness it, just to stand and stare, to absorb the serenity and the mood of this all too brief happening. It's bushcraft and wild camping that truly affords the opportunity to be a part of this natural spectacle. Truly a wonder of creation. Yet another fond memory etching itself upon my mind. Got some couple of lamb steaks in there, minted, and there's some goes with some red wine sauce for that. Beautiful. That's smelling really good. Having enjoyed a hearty meal and a rich dark roast coffee, I wandered down to the water's edge to sit for a while to enjoy the sound of the waves breaking upon this stony foreshore in the dense darkness. Well, I've had a nice coffee and something to eat, but I'm beat now. It's been hard work, this one, and I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna just have a few things, just clear away a few things, and brush my teeth with the old mist whack. Good stuff, that. I mean, enjoying using that. Have a little clean up, and then I'm gonna hit the sleep bag, I think. So all being well, guys, I'll see you in the morning. Well, it's just gone 4:30 now, and I've just got up. I'm just going to go and check these lobster pots now, pull them, and see if we've got anything. So off we go. Well, same as last time, really. Lots of velvet fiddler crabs, no lobsters. Although last time I had a nice one. But I've just dispatched this. It's nerves, it's not alive, but I've got this beautiful rockling. So I'm going to have him for breakfast. I had a chef in over West Wight, Freshwater Way, tell me that the rockling, a lot of people don't eat them, but they're very good with lime. So I'll be having him for breakfast anyway in the morning. So yeah, I'm getting a bit weary-eyed, so I'm going to head back to bed, and in the morning we'll have him in the pan. Morning, guys. Not too bad a night. bit missed getting up at 4:30 to check those pots was fun. But I say got a nice rockling to it, so I'm going to fill that up and get that ready for breakfast, and have a bite for breakfast, and then pack up and head on home. So there we are, there's our fish. What we'll do now is just take the fillets off of that and put those in the pan. Never filleted a fish with a bushcraft knife, but there's a nice bit of meat on there. But here he goes. Oh, there's some lovely fillets on these. Oh yeah, lovely. Okay, there's our 2 fillets of fish, and going to heat the pan up and have those for breakfast. Goes the first fillet. There's the other one. Just a little bit of rock salt, or sea salt I should say, sorry. And then he's ready to turn. that. They are looking beautiful. You can't get much fresher than that out of the sea. Okay, you know what they say, proof's in the pudding. I have eaten this before and it is it's a nice fish. It's very delicate. Fingers, I think. Very nice. That's very nice. It's quite a meaty fish. Yeah, nice meaty, chunky fish. And what a place to have breakfast. Fresh fish, caught in the pot by the seashore with the sound of the waves just lapping up onto the rocks. Lovely. It's overcast today, but at least it's dry. So I'm going to kick back and enjoy my breakfast, guys. I'll see you in a bit. Fish never tasted so good. But alas, it was time to break camp and leave this solitary place. But as I remind myself, smile because it happened. Don't cry because it ended. So I packed my things and prepared to head back along this rocky shoreline. All packed up, ready to go, near enough. Just got to take the tarp down and put that in the pack, and that's it. Just a quick thank you to Mark Bailey. Thank you, Mark, for the lovely collar that you made for my Wetterlings axe. This axe has become one of those pieces of kit that you grow quite attached to. But that's lovely, so I really appreciate that, Mark. Thanks a lot. If you've not seen Mark's channel, check him out. Mark Bailey does some really good stuff, so thanks again, Mark.